Hey guys, we got something really fun today. As I was going to bed last night, this came up on my feed, and I'm surprised it took so long to come out on my feed. And you can see it only has about 257,000 views so far, but I really think it should be more popular. So this is a fan-made Animal Crossing TV series trailer. So let's watch and check it out, because I think it's something I want to highlight, especially since it's made by somebody who really knows what they're doing with movie and 3D. So let's check it out. Ooh, see, the flowers move. That really gives it a nice touch here. Oh, it's Isabella! How cool! And you can see that it's kind of like she's furry in all the right places. And they're not trying to go for like a real dog mesh or anything like the Pokemon movie, but they're going for the toy one. That is so cool. Oh my god, it was short and sweet, and it's directed by Gabriel Salas here. I really think it's really cool. I mean, all of the work and the detail that goes into just rendering this 20-second video is all worth it. So let's replay some of that. So the first thing that I'm gonna point out is there's some really cool things going on with the textures, right? So you have the phone, which looks like solid plastic. You have this vase, which looks like it's made of clay. And I know what you're thinking. There's like the hard clay, that's kind of the one in real life. And then there's kind of the soft clay that's in Climation. And this kind of looks like the soft clay that's in Climation. And I think that's really neat. You're gonna see the flowers here. They look like fake flowers. They look like the fake flowers you buy at the store, but that is intentional because they're not going for a photoreal look. And the coolest thing, if we play it a little bit, is they actually kind of vibrate. So they move back and forth with the wind here. Now you're gonna see the wooden table that looks like real wood. And same with the walls and the kind of wooden area here. That's photorealistic, but they kind of cheat because what they can do is they can blur the background like so. You can't really focus on the materials. The outside too looks great, but again, it's not too detailed. Like since the focus is on the flower here and kind of the phone in the foreground, they can use kind of a fake background and blur this, which I really think is neat. Okay. So this is the next scene, and this has some really neat textures as well. So you have the whiteboard texture, which it looks like it feels solid. And these magnets here, they look like they feel solid as well. They kind of have kind of a candy-like look, as if like he used an M&M or a Skittles texture on it. But then when we look at the paper over here, that looks pretty real, right? And the reason the paper looks real, the calendar including the notepad here, is because he uses the solid white whiteboard background and then also this metallic item here. So this metallic really juxtaposed this piece of paper and this piece of paper. And then also, if you look at the books in the foreground, you can't see the individual pages, and that's intentional. It's all blurred. But what you can do is you can see that there's one page on the calendar that's kind of off, which is currently today. And that's done on purpose so that it gives you that depth that there could be more pages behind it. Okay, so this is our first glimpse of Isabella, and she looks like she's made of kind of a mesh material here. And it juxtaposed really well. It kind of contrasts really well with these metallic bells, because the metallic bells is what you see on real pets. So what this is doing is it looks like she's wearing something real, and then against her fur, which is obviously kind of an imitation between like a ball of yarn, and they're not going for anything else. What's really neat is if you look at this background here, this painting, even though it's blurred, and we're talking about this blur technique throughout the whole video, you can see there's some depth, and it's created by this shadow here. So your mind puts it together that it's kind of a picture frame, but it's kind of a recessed one. So one of those glass picture frames that behind it, that's where you put the picture, but there's some space between the glass and the picture. So I think that's something cool they also did. Here, this shot is not great because this metallic doesn't look real, but it only goes there for half a second, because when you pull back and you look at these other items, now it starts to look more real because you have metallic here, you have metallic on the door handle, and you have the metallic on the drawer handles. These glasses look ceramic. It looks ceramic, and it looks good against everything else. The cloth here, I'm not sure what texture they're using, but that looks real because they're probably combining some of Isabella's hair texture with the shape of the cloth. And here you get to see the paintings more clear. Yeah, there are those pictures within a picture thing with the glass front. Now, one of the things I want to point out is Isabella's yawn here. She's going, ah, and you don't actually see kind of like a knit pattern like her nose or her eyelids. Those are all solids. This looks like a drawing, like they drew it on her just for this scene, right? And you don't see like solid teeth, you kind of see just the drawing inside. But she looks like a stuffed animal, which is kind of what they're going for. But then her sweater looks like a knitted sweater. So I think that that's a really cool ambiance. The knitted sweater, the kind of rope bow tie here, and then the kind of like a dog collar on her head, her scrunchie with the bells. It looks great against her as the stuffed animal. Now, again, I talked about the mouth being drawn on because once she changes expressions, all they have to do is draw a different mouth. It's not a texture that they have to constantly change. It's easy when it's drawn on. It's easier. All of this is hard work, guys. Don't get me wrong. It's great hard work, and there was a lot of effort put into each of these, but that gives them some freedom to actually emote Isabelle. Okay, so we're gonna talk this scene with the duster. This duster is really cool because let me go back to it. It's a 3D mesh, but it has to move. So you're moving something up and down, and that's the coolest part. And I'm gonna go back one more scene because we talked about her mouth being a drawing, but they actually have to do her eyes. So every time she blinks or opens up her eyes, that's one frame of animation that they have to move those eyes on that model. Okay. Here, this is great because you're getting water spray. And we can talk about the glass texture, we can talk about the metallic texture, but the water spray is really the star of this frame. So you see here, I'm gonna try to, here's before the spray. Oops, here's before the spray. And then you kind of see during the spray and after a spray. So during the spray, you get this one frame where there's water coming from. And she's not watering it like this, she's spraying it on. And it's cool that they have the spray effect. And you see after spray here, this effect is really neat because the way water shoots out in real life is you shoot the spray and then after the effects, it's all here. And then she's surprised. And I love this look because you get a new mouth, and this mouth is a little different from the previous ones that are drawn because this one looks like there's texture. And what I mean by that is her lips are kind of forward, and you see the inner mouth and the tongue and the teeth, they're one layer behind, and in the back of her mouth there's another layer behind. But she gets new mouth here, and she gets new eyes. So there's actually a lot of work that goes into that shot. Oh, I also want to mention the steam on the coffee here. You're gonna see the steam coming off of this coffee, and then it still continues over here. That is attention to detail. So even though you're focused on the water spray at this moment, the smoke in the background tricks your mind into believing the scene is real because it's still here, and they did a great job. This part here is kind of obscure, and I want to go back. It's the pouring of the water. So she's pouring hot water into her tea, and you kind of see the beginning of the hot water. You don't see the full trail, But because of the angle they chose here, they don't have to do the full trail. They can just do the top where the water comes out, and then you can see it comes out. Oh, you can kind of see the trail there. It's one brief frame. Yeah, if you pay really close attention, you'll see the trail. But it's just one little drip for one frame, which is really, really nice. She pulls the chair, sets it down, and then she does her speech. Now we get the drawing thing again, but this looks more or less of a drawing. This looks more like it's knitted in a V shape, right, with a yarn. And then you get to see her talk. And that's great, because that's the end of the trailer, but I want to look at the scene really quickly. Because here, this is as far unblurred as we get everything. And what do I mean by that? The background's not blurred. So you see the fan, you see the calendar, and you see outside. I think this is the first clear shot that we get of the outside. And it's important because they went the extra level of detail to put in the tree. And not only do you see the base tree, but you kind of see the tree shape that's like in Animal Crossing. And then you get the fruits. I think these are peaches because there's a crack here, right? That looks like a butt, but you see that. And then you see all of the little details on her desk. You see this island calendar here representing New Horizons, kind of the town map, which is really cool detail here. And we're not even talking about the technique that goes into this reflection, which is amazing because it looks laminated. We can see the flag and her pencils, and we can see this one file next to the books, which is really neat. In the foreground here, you kind of see like plastic binders, like something you would use in the office. So they really went the entire detail. So I wanted to spend today's video kind of just highlighting this trailer, and if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I definitely recommend you do. If you like today's analysis and reaction, definitely follow me for more of them, and please like and subscribe. Thanks guys, talk to you later.